From way up here, you can only see the beauty of San Francisco. Go down to the streets, and you'll find a different reality. Tell me about this street.
Well, I know one person died there. One person died there. I think his lover's now sick, and that person was sick here before he moved.
Randy Schiltz is a journalist who wrote And the Band Played On, a history of the AIDS epidemic.
And on the next block up, I know 3 people who died.
As a newsman, he's covered AIDS from the beginning. As a gay man, he's seen the disease ravage his own community.
You're less likely to talk about how many friends you've had that died than how many friends are still alive, because you've got many more friends who've died than who are still alive.
Take a deep breath for me.
In the beginning, there were just a few with the virus. Today, the government estimates 1 million Americans are infected, which raises the question, was AIDS like a natural disaster? Was it a tornado or a hurricane that simply could not be stopped, even at the beginning?
The best historical analogy from that same period of time comes in December 1982 in Chicago. 7 people fell ill from cyanide-laced Tylenol capsules. Within hours, you had this incredible mobilization of government effort. $20 million was spent on this problem of cyanide-laced Tylenol. Far more money than had been spent in the first 2 entire years of the AIDS epidemic. And in that same period of time, that, you know, you had this huge expenditure of energy and money. 7 people had died from cyanide-laced Tylenol capsules, and 1,000 already had AIDS.
But a lot of people buy Tylenol.
Yeah.
And many of those people are heterosexuals, and many of those people are somebody's grandmother, right?
It affected people who counted. It affected regular, ordinary Americans. It affected people who were not gay men or intravenous drug users.
Many Americans agree with that the epidemic would have been taken more seriously early on if it had been seen as a threat to everybody, not just gay men and IV drug users and their sex partners. But what, in fact, is the risk to the American population? What's the reality, and what's the myth?
Last week, 3 women were reported to have AIDS.
But doctors say no one is immune to the mysterious disease.
It's spreading quickly, and it's becoming less and less selective about its victims.
By the mid-1980s, the story was being etched on the American psyche, that no one was safe from AIDS. Look at this headline, and this one, and this one. But if no one was safe from AIDS, didn't that mean it would explode throughout the general population? The fact is, it hasn't.
If America is waiting for this massive heterosexual epidemic to mirror the gay epidemic, they're not going to see it.
Until a few months ago, Dr. Don Francis was on the AIDS research team at the Centers for Disease Control. Everyone's at risk. Remember those headlines?
Yeah.
Everyone is at risk, theoretically. But is that where the disease is going?
This disease came into middle-class America through the gay community, but will settle primarily in urban, impoverished settings.
Which means the ghettos of America.
This cost me $10.
So when you hear that the number of heterosexual AIDS cases is way up, overwhelmingly, the heterosexuals they're talking about are the people having sex with IV drug users.
Female members of racial or ethnic minorities, black or Hispanic, who are long-term lovers or wives of men who are intravenous drug abusers.
Michael Fumento was an AIDS analyst with the federal government. He wrote a book called The Myth of Heterosexual AIDS. There's a chapter in your book entitled, What About Africa?
Yes.
What about Africa? I mean, heterosexual AIDS is rampant in parts of Africa.
Yes, heterosexual AIDS is a serious problem in Africa. The blood supply remains extremely tainted in Africa. Needles are reused in Africa to a point where they simply break, or they're too dull to even be put into somebody's arm. Open sores on the genitalia, the penis or the vagina, tremendously facilitate the spread of HIV among heterosexuals or homosexuals for that matter.
A lot of heterosexuals are looking down their cul-de-sacs today and seeing that the Grim Reaper is not walking down their tree-lined streets.
Why did so many reporters run with the heterosexual AIDS story?
This was a new angle on the story, and we need something that brings the story home to most of our readers, and most of our readers or our viewers are going to be heterosexuals. I think that there were some crasser considerations. If you want to sell newspapers or get people to watch your show, you want to say this is a threat to you too.
And Schiltz contends a lot of the misinformation came from people who by and large had noble goals.
There was profound frustration among AIDS activists and among AIDS researchers that the only time the media seemed to pay attention to AIDS, the only time the government seemed to do anything about AIDS, was when it appeared that it would affect heterosexuals.
So if the threat has in fact been exaggerated, does that mean that middle-class, middle America is safe when it comes to AIDS? Or does it mean that the fire in the ghetto is slowly but surely making its way to the suburbs?
We have fire departments in the poor sections of towns, and we have fire departments in the rich section of towns. Why? Because we know when a fire starts in the central area in town, it will, if left unchecked, will spread outwards. Infectious diseases are just like that. Not as visible, they're invisible, they're under the counter, but they are there. But you want to use the same logic. You'd better get new hoses and new fire trucks and good, able firemen out there for AIDS so that you don't have this spread out into the quote, general population.